on Friday when we got that information from police, and there was a search ensuing, and there were people gathering, and vigils are being planned. You saw so much unity in our community. But after she returned home, you're seeing people asking questions, and some people are very divided now over this case. And so this news conference is designed to help with that.
So many unanswered questions. What was obviously almost universal apprehension and fear and concern has now turned to certainly skepticism in some corners. Let's see what Hoover Police can tell us.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Frank and Pam Bearfield Training Center. I'm Captain Keith Sescaleba, that's spelled Keithczeskieleba, with the Hoover Police Department. Joining me at the podium today will be Hoover Mayor Frank Brocato, spelled Brocato, and Hoover Police Chief Nick Derzis, spelled Derzis. You may also hear from Lieutenant Daniel Lowe, spelled Lowe, of the Hoover Police Investigations Division. Mayor Brocato will make a brief opening statement, and then Chief Derzis will read a prepared statement. After Chief's statement is complete, there will be an opportunity to ask a few questions regarding this investigation. Keep in mind that this is still an ongoing investigation, so there may be some questions that we cannot answer. With that, I will turn it over to Mayor Brocato.
Thank you and good afternoon for you all coming today. You know, 6 days ago, our community learned about the disappearance of CARLEE Russell, and it sent fear and pandemonium not just through our city, but the entire state and the nation as well. The media quickly joined us to get the word out about CARLEE. Our community sprung into action, and they organized search parties, arranged prayer vigils, and they took other steps that I'm not even aware of to help in this situation. The Hoover Police Department quickly rallied multiple partner agencies, stopping at nothing to find CARLEE. I'd like to take this time to say thank you first to the Hoover Police Department, our partner agencies, our wonderful community, and to all those that aided in some way in connection with this situation. As the days have gone on and more information has been shared, we know everyone has questions. The Hoover Police Department is known for being very methodical and thorough with their investigations. For that reason, we did not feel comfortable speaking in detail publicly until now. It is important that we share this information now so that our community can be put at ease. So at this time, I'll turn the microphone over to Hoover Police Chief Nick Derzis. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank everyone for being here today. Besides me stands the team who played a significant role in this investigation. I want to thank our department, members of surrounding local law enforcement agencies, the FBI, Secret Service, United States Marshals, and ALEA for their assistance in this case. We said from the evening of July 13th, our focus would be the safe return of CARLEE Russell. That occurred on Saturday, July 15th, approximately 49 hours after she called 911 and disappeared. From that point, our focus has been to determine CARLEE's whereabouts during that time and what exactly took place. Let me say up front, this investigation is not over. We're still working this case, and we'll be working this case until we uncover every piece of evidence that helps us account for the 49 hours that CARLEE Russell was missing. However, through the public interest, and in some cases, public fear that this story has generated, we owe it to our citizens to tell them the facts that we have uncovered. So I will give you the facts that we know today. On July 13th, at approximately 8:20 p.m., CARLEE left work from a business at the Summit. Surveillance video from her place of employment shows CARLEE concealed a dark-colored bathrobe, a roll of toilet paper, and other items belonging to the business prior to her departure. She ordered food from Tzatziki's at the Colonnade and traveled there. She then traveled to Target on 280, where she purchased some granola bars and Cheez-Its. From there, she remained in the parking lot at that shopping center until 9:21 p.m. when she drove to I-459. CARLEE communicated on her cell phone with individuals known to her while on her path of travel up to the point of calling 911 at 9:34 p.m. And at this time, we will play the 911 call in its entirety.
Hi, I am on Interstate 459, and there is a kid just walking by themselves. Oh, hold on. Where am I supposed to are you? I'm right next to the exit 10 by the cover bed, like to get off by the cover bed. Okay, so you're before that exit? Yes. Okay, and were you headed southbound or northbound? Okay, towards that or towards 280? Towards Tuscaloosa. Okay. And was the child on the left or right side? On the right side. Were they walking northbound or southbound? They're walking towards Tuscaloosa. Walking southbound? Or how old they look? Like a toddler, like maybe like 3 or 4. Did you pull over with them? Are you still with them? Yes. Okay, are you with the child right now? No, I'm not. I didn't get out of the car. I can see them though. Do you mind staying and keeping an eye on them until we get there? Yeah, sure, yeah. Okay, what kind of car are you in? I'm in a red Mercedes-Benz. Is it a sedan or SUV? SUV. I mean, it's a sedan, sorry. Can you put your hazards on for me? Yeah, they're on. Okay. Did you talk to the child at all, or did you say anything to them? No. Okay. No. Do they look like they're injured? No, they don't. Are they white, like Hispanic, or Asian? They're white. Okay. Is it male or female? I think it's a boy, a little boy. Right now? Okay. So is he wearing clothes? Yes. Okay. What is he wearing? It's a white t-shirt, and it doesn't look like he has any pants on. It looks like a diaper. And you don't see any cars anywhere? No, no cars anywhere. Okay. All right. What's your name? My name is CARLEE Russell. And you don't see any injuries on the child from where you're at, correct? No, but I can't really see them that good. Okay, try to keep an eye on them for the best that you can, because I don't want you to lose track of them. Okay. All right, and do they have shoes on? No. Not that I can see. I can't really see that look. Okay. All right, I've got them on the way, okay? Just try to keep an eye on them, but the officers are on the way, okay? Okay, thanks. Thank you. Okay, bye.
CARLEE called a relative after speaking with the 911 operator. She went missing during that conversation sometime after 9:36 p.m. Traffic camera footage was obtained which depicted this portion of the incident, and that footage was analyzed as part of the investigation in conjunction with the 911 call and cell phone data to accurately determine the time frame. CARLEE's 911 call remains the only report of a child on the interstate, despite numerous vehicles passing through the area at that time. No one has called to report that a child is missing, and the Hoover Police Department did not locate any evidence of a small child walking down the interstate. Data from CARLEE's phone, including her Life 360 app, shows that she traveled approximately 600 yards in her vehicle while she was on the phone with 911, stating that she was following a child. 600 yards. That is 6 football fields straight, 600 yards. The Hoover 911 Center received a second call from CARLEE's mother stating that a relative was on the phone with her when they heard CARLEE scream, and then they had an open phone line. Hoover police officers arrived on the scene within 5 minutes of being dispatched, and several other officers arrived shortly. They located CARLEE's wig and cell phone in the grass near the vehicle. Her purse was located in the front seat of her vehicle with her Apple Watch in the purse. The food she ordered for Tzatziki's was also in the car. The items she purchased from Target, as well as the items taken from her place of employment, were not in the vehicle, nor were they located anywhere around the scene. Hoover Police deployed all available assets from the point in the search for CARLEE. Additional resources were called in to include our own drone unit, crime scene investigators. Numerous detectives responded to the scene. Throughout the day Friday, officers from surrounding local and federal agencies assisted Hoover Police in the search for CARLEE Russell. Officers returned to the scene on 459 to conduct a thorough line search for evidence. K-9 teams from the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department responded to check for any sign of CARLEE, the child that she claimed to see, and anything else that could be considered evidence in this case. Those searches all turned up empty. Private citizens, including search parties organized by our family, friends, began looking everywhere that they could to find any trace. These searches took place throughout the day Friday and again on Saturday, yielding nothing. At 10:44 p.m. on July 15th, the Hoover 911 center receives a call from CARLEE's residence stating that she returned home on foot. In subsequent investigations, detectives obtained surveillance footage of CARLEE walking down the sidewalk alone prior to arrival at her residence. She was conscious and speaking with paramedics when she was transported to UAB. Detectives were able to obtain a brief statement from her prior to being treated and released. During the statement, she told detectives that while traveling down the interstate, she saw a baby walking down the side of the road and called 911. She stated when she got out of her vehicle to check on the child, a man came out of the trees and mumbled that he was checking on the baby. She claimed that the man then picked her up and she screamed. She stated he then made her go over a fence. She claims he then forced her into a car, and the next thing she remembers is being in the trailer of an 18-wheeler. She stated that the male was with a female. However, she never saw the female, only hearing her voice. She also told detectives she could hear a baby crying. She told detectives the male had orange hair with a big bald spot on the back. She said she was able to escape the 18-wheeler and fled on foot, only to be captured again and then was put in a car. She claimed she was then blindfolded but was not tied up because the captor said they did not want to leave impressions on her wrists. She said that they took her into a house and made her get undressed. She believes they took pictures of her, but she does not remember them having any physical or sexual contact. She stated the next day she woke up and was fed cheese crackers by the female. She said the woman also played with her hair, but could not remember anything else. At some point, she was put back in a vehicle she claims was able to escape while it was in the West Hoover area. She told detectives she ran through lots of woods until she came out near her residence. During this interview, detectives noted that CARLEE had a small injury to her lip, and she claimed that her head was hurting. She also had a tear in her shirt. Detectives also noted that she had $107 cash in her right sock. Out of respect for CARLEE and her family, detectives did not press for additional information in this interview and made plans to speak with her in detail after giving her time to rest. Detectives continue analyzing data from CARLEE's cell phone that was left behind at the scene. We enlisted the help of the United States Secret Service in conducting this analysis. Part of what data includes several internet searches in the days leading up to her disappearance that I think are very relevant to this case. On July 11th at 7:30 a.m., the term, "Do you have to pay for an Amber Alert?" was searched. On July 13th at 1:03 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term, "How to take money from a register without being caught," was searched. On July 13th at 2:13 a.m., the day of her disappearance, the term "Birmingham bus station" was searched. On July 13th, 2:35 a.m., a search for a one-way bus ticket from Birmingham to Nashville was conducted with a departure date of July 13th. On July 13th at 12:10 p.m., a search for the movie Taken, a film about abduction, was conducted. There were two searches related to Amber Alerts on a computer at CARLEE's place of employment, including one regarding the maximum age of an Amber Alert. There were other searches on CARLEE's phone that appeared to shed some light on her mindset, but out of respect for her privacy, we will not be releasing the content of those searches at this time. We've asked to interview CARLEE a second time, but have not been granted that request. As you can see, there are many questions left to be answered, but only CARLEE can provide those answers. What we can say is that we've been unable to verify most of CARLEE's initial statement made to investigators, and we have no reason to believe that there is a threat to the public safety related to this particular case. Thank you very much.
With that, we'll open the floor for some questions. Please raise your hand and I will call on you. Carol.
Chief, do you expect any charges against CARLEE Russell in connection with the disappearance and in connection with what was taken from the Woodhouse spa?
Right now, our focus is to determine those 49 hours, so the investigation continues. So to be perfectly honest with you, that hasn't even entered our mind or been discussed.
One more question. Is it surprising to you that the family has not been cooperative in returning to be questioned?
Well, I think the family has stated to us that they didn't think that in her mental state right now, because of trauma of the incident, that she's not ready to talk, is what we've been told.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, question for Chief. You stated that the abductor had orange hair. Was this abductor black male? Was it female? Black female? White female?
I believe it's a white male. Am I correct by saying that? Was it ever? Yes, yeah, white male.
Is this alleged abductor yet on the loose in the Hoover area?
Don't believe so.
Yes, ma'am.
Chief Brittany Dion, WRBC, has a toxicology report been done, and were any drugs or illegal substances found in her system?
We have no report of that.
Is any indication of mental illness in this case?
There's been a concern in the community that if this turned out not to be a true story, that the next time a young woman of color was missing, that it might not be taken seriously. How would you respond to that?
I'd respond to say that we investigate every crime to the fullest, just like we have this one.
Was she traveling with anyone? Excuse me. Was she traveling with anyone since the time she disappeared, to your knowledge?
And not to my knowledge.
Chief, I know you said you weren't able to verify a lot of aspects of the story. Where do you think she went? How would you characterize what happened to her?
You know, that's the $100 question. You know, we pretty much know exactly what took place from the time she left work until she got on the 911 call, and we can see getting out of the car on the interstate from that footage. And after that, I think she only knows. We don't know.
Well, one quick follow-up. Her parents. Did you speak with CARLEE's parents? And why do you think it is they were so adamant that there was an abductor?
Yeah, I think parents are believing what their daughter's saying, and we've had a very good rapport with the parents, met with them on several occasions. I've talked to them today a few times, and to make them understand that we're under pressure from our community, not only in our community of the state, but nationally when the story hit. And I just wanted them to understand that today we were going to have a press conference, and what we were going to detail today are facts. And everything that I've told you today is actual facts. It's not innuendos. It's not what I think. It's not what these detectives think. It is the factual information that we have.
Chief, as you officer WRBC, how much time do you think you'll give the family before going back to CARLEE for sentencing?
Well, I think our detectives have talked to the parents, and we're ready. We're ready to talk as soon as she's ready. So, you know, she called right now. We're ready.
You had one word to describe what went on. What would that be?
How about unknown? You know, we know the facts that we have. Everything else is unknown at this time.
In the back.
What have the past few days been like for you, your department? This has been a stressful search.
Well, absolutely. And again, the focus of the investigation that Thursday when she went missing, of course, the focus was to get CARLEE home. That's what we want all. We wanted her safe and sound. And that's all happened. And then, of course, this has gotten to be not only a local state story, but a national story. So, you know, it's a lot of stress on everyone in the Hoover Police Department, and the mayor, to every citizen here. We want to know the truth.
You stand here, are you frustrated?
I wouldn't say I'm frustrated. I mean, I'm very happy that CARLEE's home. That was the main ingredient here, and then we'll figure it out. I promise you that we'll end up figuring it out.
Any idea about the number of manpower hours or the expense of the drones and all the rest of the search that might cost the city and the state and the federal government?
Yeah, we haven't had time to consider that, but it's you know, again, these detectives that are here. This is just a small group of people that have been associated with this case. We have put every available resource that we have on this case because we wanted to make sure that we found out everything. We wanted to get her home, and we have.
Mental health problems or
Not that I'm aware of.
Can you just expand on the people from the state, the federal resources brought in? What were they doing exactly as you all were searching for her? Can you just expand on that?
Sure. A lot of the from the FBI side, several agents helping us interview. I mean, as you well know, in a case like this, especially when it goes national, we got hundreds and hundreds of calls. And when you get those calls, some of them may just be outlandish, but you've got to follow up on them, because you never know that you may get that one tidbit. And I'd also say too that we had a great cooperation with the family. The family received hundreds and hundreds of tips, and every time they got a tip, they sent it to us.
Would you say a crime has been committed in this case?
Determine that now.
Keith Mims, WAGG 610 Summit Media. Question for Chief. With all of the searches that you mentioned, Chief, that were on CARLEE's phone, does that kind of give you an indication of her mind state during this ordeal, 48 hours
Yeah.
that she went missing?
Well, again, we want to talk in facts, and I do think it's highly unusual to the day that someone gets kidnapped, that 7 hours or 8 hours before that they're searching the internet, Googling the movie Taken about an abduction. I find that very, very strange. Yes.
Yes. Do you feel confident, your investigators feel confident that you know why CARLEE Russell may have done this?
No, we do not know. Absolutely not.
Chief, can you explain for us, you mentioned that while at release of CARLEE was on the front line of one, she was traveling 6 football fields, which tells you what?
Which tells me that I've had kids, and I'm sure a lot of people here have, and it's very, very, again, she said it, and I'm not saying it couldn't happen, because I've always been one of these guys, never say never, but 6 football fields. I like athletics, I like football. 6 football fields. To think that a toddler, barefoot, that could be 3 or 4 years old, is going to travel 6 football fields without getting in the roadway, without crying, without any just moving down. It's just very hard for me to understand.
Chief, have you used any technology to enhance the video from 459? And did you see a man grab her?
We don't see anybody on the interstate other than her car and then someone getting out of her driver's side. We have sent that off to the FBI for enhancement. It has not been returned.
Do you think in this case that charges will be forthcoming towards CARLEE Russell? And how serious of a crime is it to not only fabricate a 911 call, but to lie to law enforcement during investigation?
Well, again, that's not something that we've been discussed since we're going through the still investigation. But people have to understand that when someone says something like this, we put every available resource. Everybody comes together from, like I say, state, local, federal. It's just a lot of work, and the gentleman earlier said frustrated. I mean, it is a little frustrating to think that all this has been done and we can't find anything out.
Did anyone see her calling in from the side of the road when she made that 911 call?
No, not to my knowledge.
All right,
So
last
is
question here.
Is this investigation held up until you can speak once again, CARLEE Russell?
Well, there's a few things that we're still doing, but obviously we want to talk to CARLEE as soon as we can and do an in-depth interview. And at that time, I think we'll have these investigators doing some other things. So
That's all the questions we're going to. Guys coming, and we'll be following up with y'all later. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time, Chief.
Thank you very much. I think there's questions there. What was a surprising amount of information? Brittany Dion there, one of our 2 crews giving this team coverage. We'll get to Brittany in a second for her thought. She was in the room, but I think you and I both were just scribbling furiously or typing and tweeting furiously. So much information that we got today that was jaw-dropping, I think is fair to say.
I thought when they released the 911 call, that would be the most important thing.
Yeah.
But I think the searches
Yeah.
that they said CARLEE made prior to this abduction were telling to Police Chief Jersey.
And let's go through a little of those. And again, we'll get to Brittany Dion, our Anjanae Robinson, both inside the room, both asking questions. You heard them asking some questions during that press conference. So many new details. Let's maybe go chronologically if you want. The first new detail we got about early that night is that they believe surveillance video shows CARLEE Russell concealing items, including a bathrobe and I believe something else, that
Toilet paper
that belongs to the business where she works at the Summit, which is a spa. concealing that as she left the business about 8:30 Thursday night. She then goes to the Target on 280. That's something new we just learned last night. They told us now what she bought, which was granola bars and Cheez-Its. Say she was in the parking lot there until she begins to, after she picked up the tzatziki's, I'm sorry, went to Target then, got the snack items, and then was in this parking lot until she begins to head down I-459 and begins to make a series of calls that sets this entire thing into motion. We heard, as you said, the 911 call, which was extremely interesting just to hear her voice, hear what she was telling the 911 operator.
That happened at 9:34. The operator was asking her a number of questions. What did the child look like? It was a white little boy, no pants, wearing a diaper, wearing a white T-shirt.
3 or 4 years old.
3 or 4 years old. There was more information. Do you see anyone else around the child? Do you see a car around the child? No. A lot of more information coming out.
It was a very, I think calm, maybe the word that I kept thinking, or very normal, if there is such a, I don't know if there's a normal 911 call to be made, but it was a calm interchange between CARLEE and the 911 operator describing what she was seeing. And in fact, and this is something we've kind of been wondering about, who terminated that call? Well, it appeared like it was sort of a mutual, okay, we've conducted our business, there's an officer on the way, and the call ends. And that's when CARLEE then calls a family member and begins to describe what she's seen. Now, here's the key, though. Cell phone data, Hoover Police says, shows that she was traveling about 600 yards, and Chief Durz has stopped down to emphasize that 6 football fields, moving along the side of the interstate as this entire call was playing out. And you saw in the video we got that her car wasn't just stationary, it was moving quite a bit of ways. This is the video we're talking about, and you see it. So she's moving down the interstate here, and wherever she started, she ends up here at the kind of top left side of the frame. That was a total, he says, of about 600 yards of travel while she's making this call. And that was one of the first things that he pointed to that called into question, perhaps, her version of events.
So our Brittany Dion was at that news conference. We're going to go to her now. Brittany, one of the questions someone asked was a crime committed? Chief Durz is saying we don't have that evidence right now, something to that effect. What can you add to this story?
Yeah, that's right, Sarah. Chief Durz is saying that they do want to speak to CARLEE Russell again about the events that occurred that night when she disappeared. Now, as Jonathan and yourself have recounted about some of the new pieces of information that we just received here minutes ago, the searches on her cell phone up to the moment she disappeared, Chief Durz is saying that she looked up the movie Taken, which is about a young woman being abducted. She also looked up bus tickets from Birmingham to Nashville. She was also believed to have taken some items from her job that night, and those items were not recovered. So a lot of media in the room questioning the mental health of CARLEE Russell tonight, but Chief not expanding on that, saying that he would not expose that personal information about her as they continue to investigate this case. Again, I think that is the important nugget, one of them, that police have not dropped this just yet. They are still looking into every aspect, combing through all of the information she has given them to come to a final conclusion. At the very end, we explicitly asked Hoover PD, the chief, if he believes this was a hoax, but we were cut off at that point and he was not able to answer that question. But again, they continue to search through this information as well as try to verify any of the information that was given to them about the events that occurred that night.
Brittany,
Sarah, Jonathan.
Brittany, one of the things Sarah talked about, I think the most eye-popping part of all this was those search terms. You mentioned a couple of them. Let me list a couple of more. They say on July 11th, she searched the term, do you have to pay for an Amber Alert? On the early morning, like 1 a.m. of the day she actually disappeared, somebody searched, I should say, on her phone it was searched. No way to prove who did that. On her phone was searched the terms, how to take money from a register without being caught. Birmingham bus station, you mentioned the bus ticket, the movie Taken. So as you're in the room, Brittany, and hearing the chief begin to list this, first of all, it's a level of detail I don't think any of us expected to perhaps get from this press conference. But then you're hearing these search terms and when they took place and on her device. What is going through your mind, or what's sort of the atmosphere in that room as this shocking information, for lack of a better term, begins to spill out?
Well, Jonathan, this room is filled with media, so everyone was intently listening to every detail that the chief gave us. As you said, we did get a lot of more information about what police have been looking at, what they have been combing through. And as you said, the searches on her phone that afternoon that someone made or she made from her phone, they said they received that data after sending it to the United States Secret Service, who analyzed her phone for those searches. Like you said, July 11th, as looking for if an Amber Alert has to be paid for, how much money to register for that, looking up the bus tickets as well as how to take money from a register. They also did mention that some items were taken from the job that night. So I believe there's still many details that they are combing through at this time, and we do expect more information to be uncovered in this case. But right now, police are saying that the information about the child on the side of the road cannot be verified. They have no reports of a baby on the side of the road. We asked them if they enhanced that video from 459 and if they were able to see someone grab her there or a child, and none of that was seen on that video. But that, again, that has been sent off to be analyzed. Police said that they are waiting on that to be returned to them as well. But police, again, Jonathan, not dropping this, still investigating this case.
One of the other things, ongoing investigation is probably one of the main terms of this news conference. But also the first time we heard the police saying the pressure that they were under to have more information and give more information to the public. Can you expound on that above?
Absolutely, Sarah. We felt that pressure as well when this all first came out. We believed, as well as the community, that this young woman was possibly abducted, and the community understandably nervous, afraid, frustrated that it took so long to get some sort of information about a suspect, or if police were even searching for a suspect. So we, Sarah, continue to reach out to police to ask them if they had a suspect description, if there was a kidnapper or abductor on the loose. We have heard CARLEE Russell's mother say that she was hoping they're searching for the abductor, and police today saying that they were not doing that or do not believe there's any danger to the public. So hopefully that puts some of the viewers at this time at ease. Police saying again that they do not believe there is any danger to the public.
Yeah, Brady, I think it's important that there's just a flood of new information, and a lot of it very eye-popping, jaw-dropping, you want to say, but let's not get lost in all that detail of that, only to lose the main point of this, which the general safety, public safety.
All right, y'all. That was the press conference. I'm just letting it sit for a little while, and I have nothing to say about it right now. I'm just like, wow. I can't. I have nothing to say right now. I have nothing to say about it right now. I just need to think before I say anything. I just wanted to bring this press conference to you guys in case people hadn't seen it. I don't know what to say. Like I said, I just have to think about it and everything, and then I just don't know. So with that, y'all,
say it with me, kids. If protecting my peace makes me the villain, then bitch, my name is Thanos.